Okay, pilots, I'm going to add LEDs to my L-4 Scout. And the first thing you really want to do, pilots, is choose your LED cover. Okay. You start by a round wingtip, or your plane might have a square wingtip. See? So sometimes a shape such as this, I'm trying to get it somewhere you can see it good. See how it's long up here, and you got your shortcut back here. Now some of them is in a straight 90 degree. That means it's equal from this distance down to this distance, from that point over to this point. See, it's more square looking. And you choose that by how it's going to fit where you're wanting it on the wingtip. You might be wanting it way up here on the front of the wingtip, or you might be wanting it way out here on the edge of the wingtip. See, and that's where I'm kind of wanting mine. I want mine more to the edge than I do up here to the front. See, so I chose the Dynam Hawker Hurricane LED covers. The others you have to choose from is the Dynam P47, the Dynam Tempest has also got a good set, and if you can find them now, I can't find them on myself, but the Hellcat has good ones for square wingtips. Okay, and then you get into your landing gear cover, or landing light covers. See, you've got a big thick wing, and some jets is narrow, so you want to get something that's more narrow, or you can kind of heat this a little bit here and put pressure on it, and that'll close that up a little bit. See. But now the first thing you want to do is decide, like I said, where you want your light. Okay. Check, make sure you're going to have a good clear area to cut a channel for your lead. There's different ways of doing it. Some people, I mean, you can get into drilling a hole all the way over here to maybe this servo pocket, and you know, but I'm not going to do that this time. I've done it on a couple of my P57s. P51s. I would have about that much drilled out to where it was over here to a body line that I could go down, panel line. But what I've decided to do here is just kind of get this down as low as I can, or towards the middle of the wingtip as I can. Getting this edge here parallel with the wing. Working it there, checking it, looking at it. Not enough, not enough. I'm looking at right there. Okay. So I'm got my cover on there, and I'm giving it a good squeeze there around the edge there. I want to put a little bit of an indentation in that foam. I want to see where that edge is. So I'm giving it a good squeeze. That's what I'm trying to make right there. Okay. Now, in order to glue, I'll knock my LED in the floor. In order to glue the cover onto the wing, you don't want to cut it right along that edge. You want to cut it about 3 millimeters to 1/4 of an inch, maybe, to the inside of it. That gives you a little bit there to glue the cover on. Now, you're coming down here to this corner, like I said, you want to leave that 1/4 inch, 3 millimeters there. But you're just trying to keep your blade, you know, in a 90-degree angle and you know, straight. But it's foam pellets. You can go back and trim up if you made a mistake. Now, this is what I wanted to show you here, because some wing tips is real thick, some is real thin, okay? Very thin. Now look here to the size of the bulb that I use. I'm trying to get it turned here. See, look at that. It's a little bit thicker there, right? Mm-hmm. So, when I mounted my other light, I'll show you here. I mean, it's close. I mean, it's right along the edge there. So, I'm wanting that LED light to be right in that pocket there, right back up against that as far as it can, as far as it can go. Back up in there, right dead center of it, see. So the first thing I want to do is I want to cut my little pocket there. A little round insert pocket. And like I said, you're going to be getting right up there on that edge of that wing. So a little bit of your light's going to be sticking out there a little bit. But your LED cover's going to cover it up and kind of make it look all right. Just maybe 2 millimeters deep, maybe a little bit more, but not too much more. And then I'm just going to take my blade there and I'm going to kind of cut that little area out there that I've kind of made a little bed for my bulb to sit in, lay in. Let's see if I got that straight. Let's see here. I gotta do a little cleaning right here. And I made just a little bit of a lip right here in the corner there, just to let it hold the body of the light in there. So it's more or less just cut a little bit deeper than the rest of it. And then back up in here, I kind of cut back up in there a little bit more. Get that light back up in there as far as I can. And then I want to cut on the one thing is do it on the bottom. I'm going to make a channel here for our lead. So my servo is way down here, my lead's going to be coming way up here. So what I've done on my other wing is I just kind of made my cut to right here to this bracket. Came straight down. I mean, it wasn't pretty because I wanted to be on this side of the servo because my lead is on this side of the servo instead of having my lead come way over here and back down. And then, by the way, the landing light's going to be right here coming down through this way, so why not just have everything join in this big little pocket right here. So that's what I figured I would do. So remember how thin it is up here, so we ain't really getting deep. Let's not get deep here, let's stay simple. And you know, I mean, I could sit here and put a ruler up here and make this straight as an arrow, but you know. Alright, and what I like to do Pilots, after I've cut a channel, I take an owl. Now I usually got a straight one, but I got it's holding something right now for me. I can't use it. And I just want to just kind of V that channel out there a little bit with that owl. It kind of helps that lead get down in there a little bit better. You ain't sitting there battling a lead. Alright, we want to go down here low enough to pass the servo. And line it up with that body panel, that mount panel there. Take one out. All this, I've had little chips here and there on my other one when I've done it, but that's alright. You'll take care of that. Just make sure whenever you paint something that you save you a little bit of paint. Be careful right there at your servo lead. Don't cut your servo lead. I didn't really have a cut right here. Get that little piece of stuff all out of the way. I'm on ice cream now. Don't rip everything off. Just that little spot. I get some again, but it ain't gonna do it too. Every once in a while, pilots, you run into a piece of that foam. It just won't cut. It won't tear. It won't pull. It just rips. I don't know if it's just got a bunch of the glue around it or whatever the binder is they use on it. Ain't nothing but that. Okay, now I like to keep my black lead up showing, so it just look like a seam down through there instead of a red line down through. So I'm gonna put that in for. Oh, I forgot to make my little. You gotta make this little area right in here a little bit bigger to get those shrink wrap leads down into it. Get it in my base there, the best I can. That's dadgummit lead there. It grabs every little corner, every little edge, every little thing it can. I got to make this a little bit bigger. And let me show you, see if I can do this and hide my little joint here I had to make. I'm gonna try to cut to the inside this way, and then to the inside this way. Let's see if I can dig a little bit out right here. Remember, pilots, it's just foam. It ain't nothing but styrofoam. Alright, let's get the red lead down. I'm just kind of lining that lead up and trying to push it down into that, get it down into that channel there good. Not putting too much pressure on it now. Alright, where's my screwdriver go? up on top there. Flip that back around. Uh-oh, there. Fingernail. And if you can get all that lead down in there, when you make a turn, when you go to make a turn, I like to go ahead and get that line that I just done shoved in there good. That way it don't really pull it so tight. You know, you might be pulling one of your solders apart, or maybe pulling the lead loose from the bulb. You never know. You're dealing with little micro stuff here, pilots. And sometimes you can get that screwdriver to go right along top of it and it'll seat it right down in there. Slide right along. Alright. And you keep on doing that. I'm going to show you here in a second. You get it up here to the servo. And I'm going to run it up here. And I'm going to show you how I cut the landing light. Now what I've got a mark here where the center of the landing light's going to be. And I flipped it over, and you know how your wings got these little panel and cloth lines and stuff, and I'm pretty much right dead center of this one right here. So I'm going to leave about a ½ inch on that line. I'm kind of going parallel with it. But I want my blade to be going kind of in a downward angle on the finished cut. See? I'm going to come over here about the same distance away from that fold in the fabric, or I made another cut there. I'm not really making this a big square now, just enough to where the leading edge will cover the tip of the bulb when you put it in there. And another thing I like to do, pilots, is I like to make this cut downward here in an angle so that the light will be facing downward to the runway instead of out in the, you know, in the space there where it ain't really helping you see the runway. Okay, so I got my wing, I'm holding the wing level, but I've got my blade in just a little bit of an angle. And I'm starting right at the edge of that cut. I'm just taking the tip of that blade and just kind of working straight down that cut in that angle. Just a little bit at a time. Because you don't want to slip and just, you know, take a big chunk of your wing out. Got you there, didn't I? All right. Let's make sure we cut all the way through here. If you can see, all right, see how I've got my wing. I don't know if you can see it or not, but see how the wing is flat, but my cut is kind of in an angle like this, downward, facing downward to the runway. Yeah, okay. Okay, now here's the fun one. This is the fun one. Pay close attention to this one. And by the way, let's see. Yeah, this is it. That's the LED covers that I'm using. I got them from Bitgo Hobby. You just got to look up parts and accessories. You go into parts and accessories and see if you can find it, or you can take that number right there if you want those covers and look at it. Let me see here. Let's see. Yeah. Tempest. Note how small they are there. P47. Note how big it is. Yeah, there's a difference. There's differences in them. And like I said, I've got a set of Hellcats, but they in that bag, and good Lord, it'd take me 20 minutes to dig them out. So let me get our LED light in. I mean our landing light in. Okay, usually I take a long, straight, small owl, but same shaft as that, but it's just straight. But like I said, I got it holding something right now. It's holding 2 servos in place without the screws in it while I'm doing some work to my P47. So I'm taking one of a long free wing Phillips head screwdrivers. Now, right here behind the servo, we've got a little pocket right here. So just see, there's an opening right here. You can't see it, but it's kind of a valley, big valley there in between the servo and the foam. So I'm going to use that little pocket there for my connection. I'm going to take this screwdriver and I'm going to start in the center of this cut, but I'm going to be going in an angle to go over here to come up right here. And you just swagging this pilots. We ain't doing no algebra here to get the right angle. We scientifically wild ass guessing here. Hoping that you don't run into a spar or something, you know. And look at there, if I didn't pop it out. See the piece of foam coming out right there? Yeah, right there. Okay, now that ain't the first time we gotta do this. And it definitely ain't gonna be the last. So I'm pulling that back out. And then I'm taking my 90-degree out, I'm getting that foam out of there. And then I'm taking a regular size screwdriver. Just a regular size Phillips screwdriver. And you can use a drill bit if you want to. But I'm just trying to go right through that same path there and come out in that same spot, and there it is. Now, I'm twisting here, getting some foam out of there. Twisting again, back and the other way. And I'm gonna pull the screwdriver out here. We gotta get this foam out of that hole. Look at there. There's a big old hole coming out. We gotta get that out. You have to get that out, or your lead won't come through the hole. Quickly before the foam goes back in. Oh shoot, I forgot to cut my little pocket. I gotta cut my little pocket. You gotta cut your little pocket. Hot pockets. Just a little round base there for the LED to sit down into. Now you don't have to do this, but it's kind of difficult to glue the thing, you know, and have it, you know, steady without doing this. But you can do it if you have to, if it comes to a situation where you can't do this, you can work around it. Still got some foam coming through. Quickly, quickly. I'm gonna try to get this thing up in there. Oh goodness. No way. Started. There's something right there in the center that just will not break loose. Imagine that, that doesn't fail right in. Let's start that video camera. All right. Now remember, we're wanting the light to be in an angle, and plus it's in an angle going this way, so we've got to bend it just a little bit to where it'll straighten up when it goes in that pocket, and then should lay flush. Let me get it back out here again. Okay. And I'll put my cover over it. Put my cover over it. Now, we'll run this lead back over here. Go up under this. Then lead, join this. And then we'll hook another lead to it, come out here to the end of the wing. Now, I'm gonna run this lead just around to the servo push rod there, and I'm gonna put my decal on. I wanna see how much of it's gonna cover, because I'm just gonna take what sometimes I can do is take a little bit of epoxy and put it down through the channel here and fill that channel up, and just take your paint and either touch it up or just paint the bottom of it again. But before you do that, you kind of, you know, I want to plug them up and make sure they're working. That's the reason I don't put the LED covers on them most of the time until after I've plugged them up and made sure they work. I've had one or two of them I've had to pull back out because they didn't work. over to here. Okay. Mars and Mars. Let's see. I'm gonna try to cover up as much as I can. Still be in the center of the wing there. Yep, right in there. Okay. This is a Dynam decal if you want to know. P47 I think is what it was. I've bought probably 4 of those P47s pilots. I just, you know, sometimes it don't come home. James B. Yeah, okay. That'll work for me. I'm gonna go right down the center of it, one finger, right down the center of it, right there. I'm gonna start working up. Down. Covered up my big old, remember the big old ugly mole there? Mole, the mole, 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 mole. Okay, there we go, pilots. I'm gonna cover that. You notice this clear, this one's clear, and that one's got the blue. Well, I take my big boys there, big green Sharpies, do the lens, and you can do them inside and out if you want to. Do the end of the bulb. I'm gonna do the outside of the bulb. That's gonna sit on there just like it right there, Pop. And that right there is gonna be on it, just like so. But we'll wire it up and check them out. Make sure they work. Now, just because you hung around to the last, I'm going to show you something else that I've done. Now remember, this is an FMS J3 Cub that had these little bitty, hard as a rock. Good God, okay. Okay, that's all I'm showing you.